So one thing that has remained very constant between men and women, not just in Nigeria but in the world, though I'm going to be factoring my conversation today to Nigeria because this is what I know. So one thing that has remained constant is that some men have continued to repeatedly show that they have no regard for women and they would never treat women the same as they would treat their fellow men. And another thing that is very annoying to see is the fact that some of these men never understand when you come out and say things such as, oh, their fellow men were being disrespectful, or this thing, the way it came out, they would never say that to their fellow men. To Maranatha side of the internet, I remain Maranatha Abutu, your host and author of Friendship Illusion at 8 and Leila Khalid. If you haven't read any of my work, please do check them out. They are on Okada Books, BAM Books, as well as Amazon Books. Thank you. Here, I am going to be sharing my life stories, my journey as a woman in Nigeria, and all the other issues that we face simply because we are women. Today I wanted to share something that has been annoying me, but now it's happened to me a second or third time now, and it's very condescending because I know that men would never speak to themselves in this manner. They would never tell themselves that they were stupid. They would never call themselves prostitutes or ashewo. They would never say anything that is downright insulting to themselves because apparently they see themselves as gods and we maybe as rags. But honestly, stay tuned. Several women have come out to say their bad experiences with the way both drivers or Uber drivers have treated them. There've been that issue of both drivers being outright condescending or disrespectful to women. But I don't know what measures these drivers or drivers have taken in order to ensure that these things don't keep happening. Now, yesterday I went out. I was supposed to meet with my friend. I ordered this ride. Immediately I got into this ride, there was nothing we said to each other other than good evening, and then we started the trip. Now, for the first time in a long while, I decided that I wanted to sit in the front. Big mistake. Very fucking big mistake. Because I don't know what was going through his mind, or if he thought, oh, this person is too little or whatever. I don't know whatever that thought process was. But I sat down and then we started driving. I was going to somewhere in Asokoro. I had imputed the exact address of where I was going to with the house number, the establishment number. So it wasn't or maybe I put the street number or I put the area rather, and I didn't know exactly where I was going to. It was clear that this person was going to this particular address. Whether I know the address or I didn't know the address, it wasn't yours to deal with. Bottom line is the address is there, take me to that location. And then we had gotten past, I think we'll say we're going through Gariki now. And this nigga turns to me and is like, where are you even going to? And my first thought was, I don't understand. Like, is the address not showing on the map? And he goes, oh, it sees, but I don't know where the map is taking me to. And I said, why not stick to the address? But if you need a landmark, I can verify for you because I actually don't know. I've never been to that establishment, but the address is correct. And I asked, and my friend told me, oh, when you get to AYA, just ask around. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I told him, and he said, okay. Then he was like, oh, we drove, and immediately we got to AYA. This nigga turns to me again, and he's like, we have gotten there. And I was like, gotten where? I don't understand. We are at AYA. This is not the exact place I'm going to. So apparently there's an address on your map. So why are you not taking me to where I'm going to? He now said, but I said that I should follow the map and that No, but I said that it is AYA. And I said, no, I only asked for the landmark because you said you weren't sure what direction to follow and you didn't understand where the map was leading you to. And he goes, but you said AYA now. We've gotten to AYA. I don't understand what you are saying. How would you not know exactly where we are going to? Me, I don't know anywhere. Oh. It was just the entire time he was raising his voice. Like, his voice was extremely loud, which I didn't understand for the life of me why he was shouting. So at that point, we exchanged a few words back and forth with me telling him, oh, bros, I haven't gotten to where I'm going to. And so you need to take me to exactly where I'm going to. And he starts going, I don't know the establishments. I've never been to the establishments. This one, that one. And I said, okay, but then the address is on the map. Why not follow the map? So after he went back and forth, saying several things, and why I would never know where I'm going to, blah, 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 what it is that I'm going to do, whatnot. At this point, I tuned off. And here is why. This is not the first time I'm having this ridiculous kind of conversation with a boat driver. This is not the first time. There was a time I was going to Sheraton. I and my friend V were supposed to go for a dinner or a book launch thingy. I can't remember right now. But this was sometime last year or earlier in the year. I can't remember. And then this guy, immediately I entered this guy's ride. And he goes, good morning, how are you doing, how is work? I'm one for making small talks and conversations with practically anybody, right? And then we start to converse, and then the next thing is like, you work in Abuja, where do you work? And I told him, oh, my office is at Guarimpa. And we went on, and then eventually he starts going, but what are you going to do at Sheraton though? I was shocked for the first 5 seconds, like, I don't understand where that question is coming from. How did we get from talking about what I do, my work, and all of that to why I am going to Sheraton, what exactly I'm going to do at Sheraton. At that point, I tuned off again, and I started pressing my phone. I didn't even respond. And then he kept asking that, am I angry? That he just wants to find out that I'm such a pretty girl. This one, that one. And I'm like, you have no right to ask me that question. It is not part of your job description. Your job description is to take a person who is paying for your service from point A to point B, and that's it. You have no right to ask me where I am going to or why I am going to if the address is exactly on your map. After a few minutes, I still didn't respond. After I said that, he kept quiet and he was like, am I angry? And he's just asking now that several young ladies in Abuja are into prostitution and they go and meet certain people, blah, 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 blah. And at that point, I got mad. At first, I was going to ignore him the entire time and just let him drop me off and I would find my way. But it was the point where he made that direct statement to say that several young people or several young girls are into prostitution, and so they're after car or after money and all that nonsense. And I just told him to park by the side of the road. And he goes, no. At that point, I screamed, like, you need to park at the side of the road and I'm going to get off this car. You need to end that trip. And he started to do whatever it is he was doing. And eventually he parked and I was going to get down. And then he started begging that, no, what, we had that whole back and forth conversation of what gave him the right to ask me that kind of question. And if I was into prostitution, it wasn't his business or whatever it is to deal with. And then this person again, yesterday spoke to me in that same tone of, oh, you're going somewhere that you don't know the exact location. And I'm like, for the life of me, even if I'm into prostitution, what the fuck is your business with that? It is my life. You want to do your preaching or whatever, nobody should come near me with that. If I am paying you for a service that is to take me to a certain location, that is what you should be focused on. Not on whether no, that is none of your business. So I tuned off yesterday the same way. And then he kept talking and I just kept telling him, follow the address. And this nigga takes a turn. And we were approaching the end of Yakubu 1, and I looked at him and I said, dude, you do realize you're driving off Yakubugo 1. This is like you're veering up into a new street, right? And he goes, but I told him to follow the map. And you and I know for sure that there is no way that a map will be taking you off the particular street you are on to a different street entirely. Where are you going to make the turnaround? Where exactly? But I didn't say anything. Because at that point, what was ringing in my head was, if you guys know Dima, Dima is a YouTuber. She's also on Instagram. And she put us a very short clip last week where she was like, people in Nigeria like to test people's madness. So people come out every day and they're like, I am mad. I want to show you that I'm mad. And they forget that everybody has a certain level of madness in them. Your madness, feel no even near my madness. But I will allow you make you to do your madness go. Because when your own madness stop, then that place now my own madness go start. So I didn't when he said, oh, but I said you should follow the map now. I said no problem. I relaxed and I was pressing my phone. And then he gets off to this junction. There is a road after Misama Street on Asokoro Road where the road is still under construction. So there are like caterpillars at one side, and then the other side is like a dead end. There's basically nothing going on that end. And this thing parks by the side of the road. This is like an abandoned site that cars, and it's a bend, right? So cars are either going round and round and round. So there was no possible way I could have gotten a cab on that road, which again is not the address I was going to. But this nigga parks, and then he goes, and we've gotten to your location. This is where the Google map brought me. And I turned around and I'm like, that's not possible. Google map can never take you to this address because apparently I'm on the same Google map. And he goes, I don't know what it is you're saying. What are you telling me? I'm not, see, I kid you not. Earlier, his voice was, raised. But at this point, his voice took a lot more baritone. And I don't know for the life of me what he was trying to do. He was trying to bully me as per this small girl. Who is this small girl? That he looks late 30s, and he's Igbo. So you know how like an Igbo guy who is angry starts to shout. That is exactly what this guy. He basically started shouting. Cars that were passing by were all turning to look, and immediately they saw my face. They were like, "Oh, now woman. Oh, now woman." Which got me really pissed because immediately he raised his voice that, "But I told you when I got to UIA. What? And I told him, didn't I tell you when you were passing the streets that you were leaving the street? You told me you were following the Google map, which you and I knew you weren't exactly following the Google map. You were just driving like this kind. Let me show this small girl Pepe." That kind of thing, because it was clearly written all over his face. He wasn't looking at the map, nothing. He was just driving, and he kept driving and driving and driving. So when he got there and he parked, and people that were passing in their cars were basically turning to look like, what's going on? Why is this man raising? And then I turned to him and I chuckled like, "Well, why are you shouting? Why exactly are you shouting? This is not where I am going to. This is nowhere near the name of the establishment I have given to you. So why the hell are you shouting?" And he kept shouting and saying, "I told you, blah, 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 blah. I didn't come to Abuja to be driving people around, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, but dude, I didn't just come to you and say, "Yo, would you take me to Asokoro?" You came to me because your database was on the Bolt app and you filed to be a driver. So if you didn't come to Abuja to drive people around, then what the hell are you doing on this job? And he still kept shouting and shouting. At this point, I brought out my phone, sent my location to somebody. Like I made sure he saw me doing that, and then I dropped him a couple of messages for the person. I took a screenshot of this thing and I sent it out. And I asked him, "What exactly do you want me to do?" He said I should get off his car and pay him. And I told him, I'm not getting out of this car, not even in this location, and not when you don't take me to my location and you have the right to raise your voice at me for a service that I'm going to be paying you for. And I surprised myself yesterday because For you guys, I know, you know that I'm very, very confrontational. And for the first time in forever, I didn't think that I could keep quiet when a person shouts it. You know, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I felt it was useless, it was redundant, and this person was a madman. So how you deal with mad people sometimes is just tuning off. Tuning off, and when they're done with their madness, they'll come back to their senses and realize, oh, this thing, it was really unnecessary. I shouldn't have done this thing I did. So when I did that, he told me to pay him, and I told him I wasn't going to pay him. My voice was very calm. And I was with this purse, this same bag, and I put my wallet in, put my phone in, and I moved the bag the other way, and I adjusted the seats, I reclined it, and I rested. You know, and when he was done shouting and saying several sorts of things he wanted to say, he kept quiet. And then I realized after a few minutes, he wasn't talking anymore. He turned off his ignition. And I said, okay. I readjusted properly and I sat down. And after I'm not joking, this guy, we were there for between 5 to 10 minutes, thereabout. He didn't move, turned off his ignition. I rolled down the window and my face was out. But I was set with my elbow, okay, shebi you want mad. Today we go see person way madness past madness. You know, so I sat down there, I was basically ready for whatever was going to come, because these people keep getting bolder and bolder and bolder. And they do it because I know for sure, 101%, that no matter whatever the anger was, because it definitely wasn't me, he wasn't angry from anything I said, or he was just a very angry man. And for whatever reason it was, he would never have spoken to a man in the tone that he spoke to me. And so after 5 to 10 minutes, we were both there, nobody saying anything, and I didn't say anything. I didn't have anywhere to go to. Honestly, I was just meeting my friend who were supposed to go and check out something for our plan. We have a reunion thingy coming up, and we were supposed to check out a few restaurants. So I basically didn't have anywhere that's important to be at. So I was ready, okay, we'll go there. When you're ready, you better go drop me from where you carry me from, or you take me to exactly where I am going to. And then eventually he just started the car, and then he did a turnaround. I'm like, madman, you think you're mad? I'm madder than you. And then when we go back to AYA, he's now this time around, his voice now, a very calm way. I'm like, oh wow. In my head I'm like, so you can speak in this tone? Wow, I did not realize that. And then he's like, we've got into AYA, where should I turn? And I'm like, move straight. And then he goes, and after a few seconds, I'm like, if you find a parking spot, please park. And then he parked. And I'm like, how much is your money? At this point, I was already thinking in my mind that, oh, mommy, that don't have money. I'm going to go and find sweets. Boat driver. And wasted about 10-15 minutes. How much is he going to charge me? But guess what? A trip that should have been ordinarily maybe 15 minutes, at most 20 minutes, it took us 40-something minutes to make that trip. And guess what? The money I paid was the original money that I had seen on the app. So who lost at the end of the day? Definitely wasn't me. And after that thing, I stayed for I didn't open the app for an hour, 2 hours, because I was contemplating what I wanted to do. What exactly I wanted to do. Do I want to write a review to get this guy banned? Do I want so I was now thinking, should his turnaround lead me into forgiving him? But at the same time, I'm like, no. He only made that turnaround because he realized I was adamant and I wasn't going to move out of his vehicle if he didn't take me back to a location where I could have dropped off easily, or a location I had put in from the start of the ride. But after 2 hours, I still thought about it, and it just wasn't clicking, because I knew that there was nothing I said or nothing I did that warranted that kind of treatment. That is thoughts ran through my mind. If I had not gotten off at that point, would he have beaten me? Would he have kidnapped me? Would he have injured me? Because there are several stories about boat riders being this disrespectful and downright condescending to women. And it just won't stop. It won't stop. And when I go and complain to some men that, yo, this is how this person is treating me, or this is how this your fellow man is treating me, and then look at me and wave it off. If I ever complain to you about something that has gotten me angry or upset, and you wave it off as me bringing it out of proportion, you're part of the problem. Like, you are a very big part of that problem. Because if you're claiming this has never happened to you as a man, it means that a man would never treat you the way he treated me yesterday, or the other driver that was asking me what I was going to Sheraton to do, or if he had the right to ask me that kind of question. The other day also, I was going out, and that's how this man looks at me and he says, why not take off your clothes? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, when will men learn to understand that questions that you can never ask your male counterparts, questions that you can never ask other men, it is downright stupid to ask me as a woman? Or you feel like as a woman I'm not on the same level with you, so you feel like you can talk to me however you want to talk to me. See, from now going forward, I have said it, any boat driver that tries to do nonsense with me, I swear to you guys, I'm going to do something more drastic than yesterday. Because yesterday I was just, a lot of things ran through my mind. Though I was ready for a fight, and I knew that if he had tried to do anything stupid, maybe last he go reach out, he wife go ask him, he go dey surprised, say, another small girl when carry inside vehicle, and I do am this thing. But honestly, the next time I meet a man or a driver or whatsoever that is being somehow with me, I'm going to take a very drastic action, and nobody's going to like me for it. So if you're a stupid man that is trying to form macho, or you're trying to use me to catch cruise or use me to catch shine, you've met the wrong person. Boss up, Nigeria, warn your drivers, because this nonsense must stop. I have a picture of him and a picture of his plate number that I am still deciding if I want to put it out there, because that entire fiasco yesterday was truly unnecessary. It shouldn't have happened. Imagine if it was somebody else who he could have easily made to succumb to whatever his ridiculousness was. Because I shouldn't have to beg you for a trip that I'm paying for. I shouldn't have to beg you for a service that you're rendering to me. If I tell you thank you, please, or sorry, it is because I'm not a shitty human. It is not because you deserve it. Because let's be honest, we all have issues we are dealing with. We all have problems. So don't think that, because your problem is not bigger than my problem. Mind you. So if I'm being courteous to you, it is because I'm not a terrible person. Don't take that, my calmness, for stupidity. I've never been calm in my life. So whenever I see people are getting the idea that, this person looks small and is calm or is very submissive, you've met the wrong person. So yeah, this is all I have to say today. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.